I feel like I've always been one of those people that just used to love long, emotional goodbyes. I've moved so much in my life that I felt like I had to always give places and people proper goodbyes and proper closure so that I could put that chapter away before I started a new one. And it just felt really dramatic in some ways, and it would make me extra sad, especially because I'm someone so emotional. And so as I've gotten older and I've had a lot of change happen in my life and a lot of transitions, I'm trying to think of it more as like a flow of events in my life, that one thing is just building on another, and things don't necessarily have to be like big old goodbyes. They just are building to the next phase of my life. So I thought, instead of being really sad and emotional about these last few moments in this pink office where I have created so many wonderful memories and cozy moments, I thought instead today I would just savor a few more of those cozy moments, doing some of the things that I have come to love doing in this little cozy corner before we head off to the new place and transition and move our life into that home. So just doing things like, my cozy hobbies like coloring or reading some books, making a cozy meal today, maybe getting outside, just seeing some of those little neighborhood walks that we've enjoyed going on, just, spending time enjoying and savoring rather than being really sad about these last few. It has taken me so long to finish this book. I'm not even that far into it. I would say I've read about a sixth of it. I've also been annotating it, so fair enough. That's probably why it's taking me a long time. But I started this way back in the spring. Everyone was talking about it. I was super intrigued by the plot and what the back of the book was saying. But for some reason, I just haven't been in the mood. Like I said, I was kind of in a reading slump during my time away. I was just trying to enjoy life, live in the moment, and reading was just not at the top of the list. But that's not to say I haven't been liking the story. It's actually quite fascinating. It gives me very Hunger Games vibes. I like that the author kind of just jump right into the plot. I don't like when fantasy books take way too long to get into because they're just world building and they're telling you too many background details. I like learning those as you go. So the fact that she kind of just jumped right into the story, I do really like. I'm hoping now that the weather is getting colder and we're in cozy season, and as I get to the new house and set that up and make it cozy, I'm hoping that's gonna keep me interested enough in reading fantasy stories. I'm also currently reading The Heartless Hunter, I think it's called. It's on Kindle, so I just decided to pick it up on a whim the other day, and that one's been okay. I am flying through it because it's easy to read, but so far it's giving me very 3-star vibes. Still worth the read, I guess, if you're looking for something easy. It reads very YA, but before that, I had gotten back into reading a lot of romances. I read a couple of Abby Jimenez books. I read Part of Your World and Yours Truly. They're back here somewhere. And those were amazing. I love them so, so much. I finally got the hype about Abby Jimenez. I hadn't read any of her books, and I was like, okay, I get it. This is what everyone's been talking about. So those books were 5 stars. I think the first one was a 5-star, and then the second one I gave 4.5 stars. And then I also read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, and that was incredible. So I've had a really good start into reading again. I've had some pretty solid reads, and so I kind of don't want to find myself in another reading slump. And so I just want to make sure that I am grabbing books that are going to keep my interest, especially while life is about to get a little crazy. Chilly out there, so I just came back in, but it was so nice to get some fresh air and just, see the neighborhood and that little feel that we always go to, and just like lock those little moments into my memories. I thought what I could do now is pick out a couple of books to take with me kind of on the road for the next couple of weeks. I don't know how it's going to look on the other end. I don't know how long it's going to take me to unpack my books. We are hosting family for Thanksgiving. I have no idea. It might take me a day, it might take me a couple of weeks. So I thought, just to be safe, why don't I pick out a couple of books to take with me in my backpack so that I can at least have some on my bedside table. I do, of course, have my Kindle, which is like so handy to read on, and I have been reading a lot on this, but I'm one of those people, I just like to have like a book or two on hand in its physical form because I just like the feel of them. And I feel like, especially getting settled into a new place, I want something that's going to make me feel cozy and bring me some comfort while that new place starts to feel like home. I thought about taking Powerless, but because it is so chunky and I am annotating it, that just seems like a little bit too much to take on the go. So I'm going to leave that one, let the movers pack it up. But I think what I'm going to do is just browse my shelves and pick out maybe one or two, probably some romances, just to keep it easy, because those are a little bit lighter and they tend to be paperback and flimsy. And also just for like my psyche, I feel like when I have a lot going on and life is really heavy, those are the easiest to escape into. So I think those are the ones that I will pick out, but let's see what I come back with. Okay, so I managed to pick out 3 books. I didn't want to obsess about it for too long because if I did, I knew I would get nowhere and we'd be going round and round. So I just quickly picked the 3 that spoke to me and I was like, I'm just gonna go with them. They're all romances, but all very different. The first one is called I Loved You in Another Life by David Arnold. I randomly picked this up at Heathrow Airport the last time we were in London a couple months ago, and I was just really intrigued. The back doesn't give away too much, but it says 2 soulmates, infinite lifetimes. If that's not enough to grab you, I don't know what is. I feel like this is giving me, at least from the cover, the vibes of that book, You've Reached Sam. I know that one's like really sad. I'm hoping this one's not sad and it's just like a nice, unique story about these 2 kids falling in love, but we'll see. The next book I have is Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I did read her previous book to this called Nora Goes Off Script. I wasn't expecting much going into that book, but it actually turned out to be quite good and was a punchy little read for such a short book. I'm assuming that's just kind of her style, and hopefully this one will be the same. There is a 3rd book after this one. If this one also turns out to be just as good as the first one, I might go ahead and grab the 3rd one as well. And then the last book I have here is probably the one that I'm actually going to reach for in the next couple of days after I finish some of these other reads. Has been on my TBR for so long. So many people love this book, and for some reason I've been afraid to pick it up because I don't want it to let me down, but I have a feeling it hopefully won't and that I'll just be obsessed with it. It's called 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This one is supposed to be really heartfelt, really gut-wrenching, but just a very, very beautiful story about 2 people and their struggles of love and challenges and being together. I'm so intrigued by this book and I can't wait to read it. I'm hoping these 3 are enough to kind of keep by my bedside while life is a little chaotic and a little hectic, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get all of these other books in their homes.